All right, welcome back to Two Song Podcast. This is Chris.
And this is Cam.
And this is a show where we try and sort every song ever into one of two categories, either a love song
or a fight song.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is episode 111 of our show.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of you probably recognize the intro to that song. It's I Think I Like When It Rains by Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from their second EP, Locals 2. Which I want to say came out in 2019. Nope, 2017.
Man, yeah.
Which is crazy because it's recently blown up on TikTok and otherwise.
I know. They didn't have to wait that long. Like, that would be a little frustrating to be like, man, I think some of these songs are really good. And then have to wait, 3 or 4 years for people to care. 5 years, you're just like... But, I mean... better than it like taking decades or whatever.
Yeah, seriously. And this song on Spotify has almost over 41 million streams, so probably worth the wait.
Yeah, I would say. And I gotta be honest, I found it on TikTok. Someone was like, this is one of the songs or a list of songs that sound like dreams.
Oh,
and this is the one that I liked from that video.
Nice.
And I was like, I didn't even know they had our same name until I went to Spotify. I was like, oh, even better. That's like a bonus.
Right, yeah. I was going to mention we kind of feel a kinship to these guys. They're from Florence, Alabama, but they have our last name as the name of their band. So I assume it's also at least one of their real names. But
maybe
it's just like a reference to... what you talking about, Willis?
It could be.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But they're awesome either way. Their music feels like they're music nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and this song's special because it starts with the hook, and it starts with. I mean, honestly, there's so much. They've like captured such a feeling, such a mood, that just that one line, that I can see why people are kind of addicted to it and why it feels like a dream. Like just that opening title, which is also the hook, is just so good.
Yeah, it seriously is. And I guess I'll go ahead and mention it since you were talking about like this feeling that it captures so well, and I hadn't really thought about it, that it feels like a dream, but I can totally agree with that. I was just kind of like calling it nostalgia, like. Of course, songs that remind you of being a kid feel nostalgic, but this song couldn't do that because it came out in 2017, and yet it still like kind of captures that feeling.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say it does.
And there's only a few songs that can do that for me without actually having some like backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember from Chance the Rapper's Big Day? Feels like that to me.
Yeah.
It's just like something. It just makes you feel like a kid, and reminds you of, I don't know, not having to worry about everything.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really special.
Yeah, it is.
So should we wait till this train passes, or just hear some more of the song?
I think maybe let's hear a little more. Cool. Man.
Yeah, that the keyboard or piano, it almost sounds like a early electronic keyboard or something, like a Fender Rhodes or something.
Mm-hmm. But it could just be a keyboard emulating that.
Right.
But that is the sound it has, yeah.
It's so smooth but like dreamy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be able to like forget that now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I'm dreaming over here.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's like, I don't know, like that kind of tone to me has always reminded me of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory / Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and just like stuff like that, and kind of the theremin too. It's like those instruments came out at a time where people were just trying to find instruments that weren't like other instruments.
Yeah.
Like, we hate the old sounds. All of them are horrible, and they're so used up and so old-timey. We got to do new weird sounds. And electric pianos, to me, like, they sound so cool, but they also just sound like sci-fi or like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
but I love the way he plays it. Like it complements the singing so well, and then it lets the guitar do these chords, these like spiky, like accents. They're upstrokes. So rather than starting with the biggest string and strumming down to the smallest string, this technique's like kind of like a reggae technique or like a funk technique where you like go the opposite way, little strings up, and don't necessarily even play every string. And it's cool because like that guitar player's working those little slaps in there, and then kind of like doing these little lead parts that like mirror the keyboard.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and so far the lyrics I don't think make much sense.
No.
You told me to go to the light and what it's like to feel your pain. Now I'm okay if you're alright.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like abstract almost. Just
Yeah.
like separate or confusing, but
Yeah,
they sound good.
They do. And maybe that's another thing that contributes to the dream nature of it. Like you'll be like with someone in a dream, just like the two of you are on a mission together, and you don't know the mission, but you also do.
Yeah.
And then that person will be someone else, and then you'll be like, oh man, I think I'm dead. And then you're like, oh, I'm not dead. Like it just, you know, it's nonsense.
Yes.
It's just your subconscious like filter and stuff.
Mhm.
Like opening the gates and or the valve and shutting it. Opening it, shutting it. Whoa. And that's kind of like, you told me like head to the light. Kind of like, wait, what's that mean? Like nothing.
Just go with it. Yeah, I was gonna say stream of conscious, but I guess subconscious would just be like even more, just like everything at once.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I like the way it's sung. The more I listen to it, the more I'm convinced like the singer's trying not to enunciate very well on purpose, except for on certain words. Like, you know how dynamics in a line keep it interesting, like crescendo, decrescendo, and make it to where it's like you notice, even if you don't know that you notice it, you feel, you sense an increase in volume.
Yeah.
He's kind of almost doing that, but with enunciation too. Like some words are more clear than others, and it's just like some choice that we don't really get, but it's just cool to listen to.
Yeah, that's very well said, and I think also contributes to like this dreamy, kind of confusing feeling.
Yeah, so cool. I really like the way that the bass almost feels like it's behind. Like the bass part is like these, like one short clipped note, one long note, and they just like bump after like some of the other music and lyrics go by, and the bass will like do a double like hit. I'm trying to use broad terms so it's not too like nerdy and like people don't get the references, but it's like a dotted eighth note or just like a staccato and a less staccato note after. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know. I wish I'd like really strive to be able to do that kind of thing on bass. Just like find the spot and just be like, because the bass kind of like sets everything. Like it's like we're right here. Like you can't help but feel that this is where we are, and everyone else has to be there with you. But this guy's kind of coming in behind and still able to do that. He's like, this is where we are, and if you forgot, here we are still. Now we're going here.
Yeah.
And I just love to be able to like find those places that like help the band be like, this is where we are.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's when I notice a good bass player, when I can like see the other band members like like acknowledge that, or like follow the bass player.
Yeah, I know, because it must be relying on somebody else or something else for the downbeat, like the start of every measure, or the start of where they all click in. Maybe it's the drums, but the drums to me remind me of you know those bands like Band of Horses, where the drummer's like really low energy on purpose.
Yeah.
And nothing against this drummer, but it's just like lots of slow like washing of a big cymbal,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a little like light tap on the snare drum.
Yeah, almost just embellishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And of course, the more instrumentation and the song builds, more instrumentation comes in, and the parts get more complicated and all. But yeah, how are they all there without without the rhythm, just like the rhythm section, kind of leading the way.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
Michael Palmisano talks a lot about like keeping the beat in your body, or just like in your mind even, when it's not there. And like he just like nerds out about seeing musicians and like telling that they still got the beat and they're just like ready to give it whenever it's time. And like maybe these guys just still have it, just like, you know, clicked in or something, and they're all looking at each other, so they're just with it.
Yeah, maybe they're like swaying, like
Yeah,
all
it
with
feels
each other.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why I said that. Like, this song feels like a sway. The whole thing is like, I don't know, you're like a piece of seaweed or something. So maybe that's what they have to do. It's like, I don't know, like a slow and almost like lazy, like dance to keep the beat.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Cool. You wanna get back to the song?
Yeah, that's why I say that.
Nice.
Cool. I think that's part of what you were saying earlier, stream of consciousness, because it's like people that are like free, and I mean that in a good way, like just like doing what they love, and almost like privileged to be bored a little bit. Like we used to like go here, and then we used to kind of like go do this, and it like the way that there's no real agenda and no real even like clear plot, like, you know, first this and this and that and this and this because of that. There's like none of that. It almost like matches the laid back performance, like the way the drums are just like one ride cymbal and a snare drum, and like a floppy snare drum too.
Yeah.
And then the singing can take all these like falsetto things, and the electric piano, it's like all stirred in to this. I mean, yeah, again, stream of consciousness.
Yeah, and all like kind of melting together.
Ooh, yeah, it does sound melted.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I love it so much. And in that verse, or whatever we want to call it, he says dream twice.
Yeah.
And while you were talking about like, you know, we would go over here and then we were going that over there.
And we waited while it rained.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have anywhere to be? It's like, well, no, it's raining.
Yeah. It also like makes me think of being a kid, and he's literally saying like going after school, like all we used to dream about was going to your place after school. I think that is how they're kind of capturing the nostalgia, like having the music match that, just kind of like lackadaisical, just like we were just waiting for it to stop raining, didn't have nowhere to be. I don't know, it just makes me feel so good and like cozy. And tonight is a rainy night, so it really fits it well.
Yeah, no, that's like almost perfect. Yeah, I noticed that. We listened to that part, and I was like, oh. Dang, yeah. I'm amazed. I mean, we talked recently about people with just like interesting voices or really great tones, really interesting voices where they're like, you're not like a trained like choir singer, a cappella singer. You just have like this like neat voice, and I think the lead singer for Willis is that way too. It's just like, man, I wouldn't like, that's almost like a voice that's hard to imitate. Like even singing along, you're like, well, when he gets that falsetto, you're just like, oh, too bad. I'm out, take it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a great voice.
Yeah, it really is. They've got something special going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that the album artwork, or I don't know if you could call it that. It seems like they just have like 4 EPs that are all vocals, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
But for this one, it's just like the band, I presume, just like on someone's back patio. Like it's kind of just like behind the house, you know, just like they just like, we're over there.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool vibe that they captured, they got going on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but it seems authentic too. Like I usually am annoyed when people aren't hippies or aren't relaxed, but want you to think that they are.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm annoyed when people aren't hippies too.
I'm more annoyed when people are hippies. For the record, if people are keeping track, but but it's just like when people want to give off like it's all cool and there's no worries. Like I think about Community whenever the character, like the hippie character, like finally had his heart broken and realized everything wasn't so cool all the time. Like one guy's like, no worries, and he goes, no, some worries.
Yeah.
I think about that often. So I'm like, yeah, they're surprised. There are some worries. But these guys, they seem authentic. They seem like they just love playing music in their style. You know, we're not in a hurry. It's weird. It's like, it's almost like not even fast enough or loud enough to be rock music or light rock music. It's just like their own thing.
Yeah, and you talking about like, you know, people trying to convey like a hippie vibe or just like a really chill kind of like facade. For some reason, I was thinking of like lo-fi. I can just picture people like tweaking out at a computer making lo-fi beats.
Yeah,
to chill and relax too.
The interesting thing about that is I don't think lo-fi music's very easy to make, like you're saying, but it sounds easy to make.
Yeah,
and it feels easy, and it does relax you if you let it. So yeah, that's funny because this is kind of like in the same vein as lo-fi.
Yeah.
But I think the production value is much better, and nothing against lo-fi. That's just what it means. It's like inherently part of it.
Yeah.
But the bass is really compressed. The drums are really delicate. The singing is like pitch perfect. Like so, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder a lot about more the business side of this band, just because they've only done EPs, and that kind of suggests like independent.
Yeah.
You know, I think most record labels are trying to put out records, and you know, maybe they just have like a good friend that just like loves producing music. Maybe they just can do it. You know, maybe they're just doing it themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Wow.
Yeah, but somehow it feels like very well polished and like homegrown.
Yeah, that is a delicate balance to strike.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I'd be down to hear more.
Yeah, we're about to get the hook again, so we got teased with it at the beginning.
Wow.
I know that almost felt like even more just like there are no worries. I got nothing else to blame.
Yeah, gosh.
Which is also interesting because right before that, I wish things were the same nowadays. I don't know. It's still like pretty scattered, and somehow still getting across this just like mood and like nostalgia.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, the more I listened to it, like the performance is a little bit tortured, a little bit in pain. Just the way he like goes up, and insists on singing in that falsetto, and then having like the right hand of the piano like matching perfectly, like follow the vocal melody. Like, you know, isn't typically that is something that's used for dramatic effect. Like the melody rises in pitch to be like a more urgent, more desperate like message or timbre or tone or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But it doesn't. I don't know. But it doesn't really match the music. Like, I don't know. This music's just like, it's like early in the morning, all the blinds open, so like the natural light's coming in, and just like a real aesthetic that I can describe. I guess like the more I think about it, but it's probably different for everybody. But then that vocals just stands out to me.
Yeah. When you're talking about the piano matching the melody, is it for the like the main line? I think I like When It Rains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it just that like it's certainly like, you know, note for note rhythmically, but I think they kind of diverge as far as like the notes, and maybe that's just like his voice, and like I kind of always struggle to like find pitch in different people's voices. But it kind of seems like they like are matching, and then they split apart at some point.
I hear that too. There is something that does different. I was thinking
Maybe
it was
just
the
the one
guitar,
note.
but it might be the piano doing it.
Yeah, it is very effective though, and then a line or two later, oh Lord, I wish things were the same nowadays, which I already quoted, but that feels like the most desperate line to me.
Yeah.
Like his voice is even strained a little bit, and plus like oh Lord is like very like pleading.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Even if you're just kind of using it as an expression, like that's still, like people don't just say that when they're not like pleading or worried about something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I don't know, it's hard for me, and I feel a little bit guilty breaking this song up into pieces because it's such a steady, like there's even like a great solo later, but the drums don't change what they're doing. The bass doesn't change what it's doing. Like it's just such a like an even keeled piece. Like the song just is what it is, and it's hard to be like, all right, let's find the momentum again, because there's barely momentum.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool to me. Like it's just every different kind of song out there, and it's just one of them.
Yeah. It's interesting that like thinking about a song with no momentum, and it's certainly kind of like dragging, not very dynamic as far as songs go. And then I think I like When It Rains are kind of just like spread out, or like there's more space in those lyrics. So that for me that does create a little bit of like kind of breaking up the song, and like forcing you to like pay attention to that line in the hook.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That part is really deliberate, and they do pretty much stop the song to make sure you listen. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, not to correct you, just like point it out.
Yeah, sorry.
Nice. Do you wanna
Here's some more.
get to another verse?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we kind of don't have much new in that verse. I think a lot of the lyrics are even the same, or maybe I'm just really familiar with them, but it does feel a little bit more spacey.
Yeah.
There's more room to kind of maybe back out a little bit. You know, to give a little bit of dynamic. But it's certainly all of the same instruments, I think just giving it a little bit more space.
One thing I noticed about that verse is like at the end of it, and I feel weird that I didn't pick up on this before. It's like content. It's like I'm okay with what I have. There's a little bit of like wishing things were the same nowadays, but that's just, I don't know. It's weird. That's just what the lyrics say. I don't know if I believe the narrator, like because like all the stories they're telling is like it's almost like it happened in the past, but it's also happening now.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm saying content meaning like simple too at the same time. Like if just that, I would be content. And to a lot of people, it's like, oh goodness, that's all you want. I want everything. I want it all. I'm the opposite of a minimalist. I want everything, you know. And I don't know. It just reminds me of being like really zen. I don't know if that's even the right word, but just something like that.
Yeah.
Being like, well, we don't have all of these material things. We don't have all of these like accomplishments even. I'm just using that as an example, but we're okay without having those things.
Yeah, which was probably so true for this band that had already made an EP, and this is where they were recording number 2, and probably having a lot of fun doing it, and probably couldn't imagine the success that this song has had and some of their other music even. But they do seem okay with it.
Yeah.
And thank God for that, because we're getting this cool music.
Yeah.
Just a line that I really like from that, which I don't know if I've ever been able to like make out, because he kind of like cuts some of the words short. But we party while your mom is asleep. Is it like the second line of that or third line of that verse, and it's kind of ironic, but. Some folks like sleep during the day, or like go, maybe just go to bed early, and then it's party time. So that's kind of cool. And when you were talking about being content and zen, that was just also making me think of like being a kid. Certainly, kids are like needy and can get bored, want something to do and all, but also. They haven't learned how to like, know what they don't have, or like, wanna, I don't know, be famous or achieve all these like things that we're taught we should be trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And again, just like kind of simple. In like the best way.
Yeah, exactly. In a good way. Being childlike and that being a compliment. Man, yeah. And maybe that's another thing of nostalgia. Like a lot of people swear the only time they enjoyed their life was when they were little kids. Sad as that is.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah, but I thought about that line too. Like that's just weird to me. Like, are they having like a secret party? Like a low energy party, or is this person just a really heavy sleeper? It's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of sets the scene more so than some of the other stuff. It's cool to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, this next part I really like. It's almost like not done anymore. So it's so cool to have it and have it set up this way. It's so neat.
Yeah, and he says, "Kick it, Will," and it's probably not the case, but I just really want the keyboard player to be Willis.
How cool would that be?
Chances are it's probably not, but it would be cool.
That'd be really cool.
But yeah, let's hear this part.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, man, they kind of give you that like full stop, and then just like let the keyboard do its thing, and the bass is just like, oh yeah, okay, I can play too.
Yeah, the bass does like that movie sound effect from every single trailer ever since like Transformers 2 or Transformers 3. I don't remember which one it was, but there was one Super Bowl where there was a Transformers TV spot with this like low, bassy, descending, like ominous tone, and now every single movie trailer has that. Like Mark Wahlberg could be getting a family, and there's like one of these sound effects in there. And you're just like, dude, who? That's not fair. That everyone's like, oh, I'm ripping that off my trailer. And even like parody trailers or like movies that are parody movies have stolen it and like overused it for effect to point up how dumb it is. But that's what it's in music. Like it's a transition part or transition note or several notes, and like the bass player just hits it, just like slides down.
Yeah.
to kind of like give a little extra to like that transition to where the keyboard player takes over. So cool.
Yeah, I think a really good use of a slide like that. I've been like learning bass, and I just kind of like slide an octave every once in a while. I'm like, well, I know if I get to that note, it's the same note. So.
Cool.
But man, I want to be good at bass really bad. It's just so cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they really, like, I guess adds to the laid back vibe, or like I don't know. I just don't know what this new like genre of music's called. There's a band that is like modern East Coast surfer music. I saw them on TikTok also, and I know they had a song on Outer Banks. Like they went from not being a band, they were banned for a few months. They got a song on Outer Banks. Like the rest is history, you know, kind of thing. And this music kind of like fits into that to me a little bit. Like it's just like I just don't know the genre, but that's okay. I don't have to know the genre to enjoy it. But it just adds to the whole overall vibe that there's a long, slow keyboard solo.
Yeah,
it's just neat.
I know, and I love just like the singer just being like, all right, take it, kick it, Will.
Yeah.
That I thought that's what you were gonna say contributes to the laid back, just like as if that was like improvised, and maybe it was, but it feels cool for him to just be like, all right, someone else do something. I'm gonna step back for a second.
Yeah. Gosh, I didn't even think that, but yeah, it does. And it's also neat to like say that in a different way, rather than just being like, you know, take it. Like I think we told this before, but Anthony Kiedis' version in Red Hot Chili Peppers is "Clean It Up, Johnny."
Oh yeah.
And Eddie Vedder's famous or infamous version is "Make Me Cry" when the guitar solo starts.
Cool.
So it's neat to like a band leader be like, take it, or take a solo, or whatever. Like to say that a different way. Kick it, Will. It's just cool.
Yeah, and that's like one of the most relaxed ways to say it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it really fits that solo.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and then there's just some more soloing in a second. Like,
Yeah.
it's just cool that they're like, let's just enjoy it. Let's just jam it out for a second.
Yeah. Reminds me, I saw our great friend Sean play with some other kind of local musicians that are all excellent in their own right and doing their own things and doing lots of things. And they have started playing with Charles Davis, who is he's on our local radio station, and he has a very powerful, awesome voice and a huge personality. And so it was a really cool mix, just like a 4-piece band, and he, you know, even having like this powerful, incredible voice, knew like several times during the show to just be like, all right, y'all take it, and would just like turn around and watch them, and they would rock it out and have a good time. And he would sing a verse, and then he'd be like, y'all go again. And just like, let them jam it out. And I was having a great time. It was really great.
Cool, I like that too. Y'all go again.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Man.
And then we get some ooze. And some more of this dreamy vibe. So here's some more.
Yeah, let's do that. Neat.
Yeah, that's a cool outro. Couldn't have been any more dreamy.
Yeah, it's one of those intro or outros rather that almost like for me leaves me being like, don't say anything yet. Like, don't react and like listen to it in sequence. It's like I hope the next song is like delayed a little bit. It doesn't come on for like 3 or 4, maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah, it just gives you a bit of pause.
Yeah, but it's not like you need it as a relief from that song. It's just like the song leads you there. Like those chords get like deconstructed and then turned into like a little piano line. And I actually noticed this time listening through that the drummer's like favoring that same symbol that he likes. he gets quiet and he gets a little bit louder again. It's almost like he got quiet too quickly, which is neat. It just makes it has like a, an authentic handmade feel.
Yeah, a little more live.
A little more live. But it's just like, the outro just takes you to like feeling like you just exhaled.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting and relaxing and just enjoying the song, you'll need to inhale quite yet.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I really appreciate all the oohs.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the words. It's so cool because it's such a common thing in music to, rather than write a melody, or, just to have some oohs and ahs. It's something we've talked about a lot. Because music's like so much more than that. And so it's like, instead of him trying to give us words, they just gave us that like instrumental and some oohs.
Yeah, and the next thing to say, like, I couldn't find the words for that. It was probably obvious because there weren't words, but I want to address it. That's so neat. I mean, it's also cool to put those two together. Because I found that the same people that say that they're speechless are often the people that
are speechless.
Yeah, are incapable of not talking. And it's just like, I'm honestly speechless right now. Okay, first I'd like to say, wait, which is it? You got a list of things, or you're speechless? But that's just cool to be like, I felt something, and the music was so right, and we just had a keyboard solo. No lyrics really fit that, but we did something there.
Yeah.
Jeez. Dude, I don't know. I mean, this is such a fun song, and we're just like grasping at the exact words, and maybe for people that are more like only like one or two types of music, it seems like we're being critical in a negative way. I mean, I hope that we're not, but I just worry about that. But I would say that to say that we're not intended to be. It's just like dreamy, sleepy, lazy, bored, laid back. Like those things are just adjectives. We're not trying to put a negative connotation on them.
Yeah, certainly. I've been obsessed with this song for a while, and it sometimes just to like feel that like exhale. And just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess. And speechless.
Dang. Yeah, I listened to this song a lot, like all spring. As soon as I discovered it, I don't know, I remember maybe like February, March. It was like kind of the end of winter, the beginning of spring, and it was just a perfect song at that time.
It's an interesting idea too, to think of someone like realizing that they like rain. And like, based on some of the context of the rest of the song, for nostalgic reasons. Because I've always just like loved a good rain day, like thinking about like playing Go Fish at home, like the power goes out or something, and there's just like watching storms, and as I've gotten older, just like sitting on the porch and watching a storm, watching it rain. I've always loved it.
Yeah, but you're right. It occurs to this narrator for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Well, I think we're both pretty familiar. Who do you think should go first?
I think I went first last time, so
you did.
You want to go for it?
Yeah, I will. I think that kind of the way it starts with the piano and the singing that like grabs your attention, and then it stays kind of low and slow the whole time. And there are a couple of like dramatic by comparison parts, like you mentioned right before the keyboard solo bridge. There's like a real hard full stop. There's like those little parts, but I don't know, they stand out in this song because everything is so kind of flattened and compressed.
Yeah.
But I think the nostalgia and the storytelling and the memories and the way that this person doesn't seem desperate or high strung or anxious at all makes me think that it's like a ballad in that it's not really directed at one person, but it's more like a ballad, like funeral song or a ballad lament that something has changed. And like I said earlier, it's also a little bit of like, I'm content with this. I'm like enjoying realizing that I like when it rains. That's all I need right at this moment. So then that's almost like a love song to like right now, or a moment or a feeling or something. It's
Yeah.
But I mean, you said abstract very early, and this song is definitely abstract. But it's cool to be like, every time it rains, I think back on, and I just realized this, when we would go to your house, when we would party at your house, when we would not have anything to do, but it was fun, you know, like.
Yeah.
And so for all those reasons, I can't see where this is like a party song or a high energy song or a, I just realized I want to quit my job and scream swear words kind of song.
Right.
So I can't say fight song, I gotta say love song.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one because I think you even mentioned it's not like to someone. I mean, it does say your house, but nothing else is really being like, it's not like to someone or even really about someone. It all feels kind of general, but it is so like peaceful and relaxing and level, you know, not very dynamic. And comforting even, I would say. And with the just like lack of driving percussion, I think I have to say love song too. And you know, it's hard not to like acknowledge the nostalgia that I feel, and like, you know, having memories come up of rain too, which I already mentioned. So it just all feels very like positive and content, like you said. So I also have to say love song.
Nice. Yeah. I
And
totally agree.
there's just something else I want to say. You mentioned like feeling bad about breaking up the song into pieces because it like flows so well. And I've kind of always felt that. So I just want to reiterate that like, we're not doing this so that you can like hear these songs by any means. I mean, we're glad that you're here, certainly, but we would love it if you like see that we've done a song and listen to it in headphones before you listen to the episode or something, so you get more of a encompassing feel of the song, and maybe you can like, you know, kind of agree or disagree with what we're saying about it as we go, because you've like experienced it completely.
Yes, bingo, that's great, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, if you listened to an episode for a song and we talk between the parts, you're just like, I'm gonna just remember what the song was doing. And then when they play it, some more of it, I'll remember that too. And I'll be like, okay, I think I know what the song sounds like. Like, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of impressive. You can put those pieces together.
Yeah, it is. Seems impossible maybe, but yeah, like go listen to them.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hurt their feelings. I mean, they appreciate it. They need it, I guess.
Yeah.
In general, the songs we pick, not necessarily. I think I like when it rains. This song has blown up, but yeah, just so that the song can be one piece, and then, you know, it's like reading a short story or something for a class. Like, if it's really short, you can read it a couple of times to really get it. And songs are pretty short.
Yeah, I think that's part of what I love about songs. You can, you know, fit several in and have like several different experiences on a single car ride.
Yeah, you're right.
And we're big proponents of like taking art as it is. So we also like to encourage that you like listen to the whole album that a song is associated with when they're part of an album. Because you know, the artist does that on purpose.
Yeah,
puts them in a certain order and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
And with all that, we're again really glad that you're here.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Cam, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
And thank you all sincerely for listening.
Yeah, thanks.